Raptor. It was not the funnest 4 months, if I may add. This entire situation has been a nightmare from start to finish. In case you missed it, this is how my Raptor has been looking like the past 4 months. My Raptor got involved in an accident inside of the wrap shop that did the PPF. Now, initially I had took it in because there was a few bubbles on a couple of spots. So come Friday, they were like, hey, we're gonna need it a couple extra days. And I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. You know, I'll cancel my plans, that's fine. Come that same Sunday, I get a call in the afternoon and they were like, hey, we have some bad news. And I'm like, what do you mean? Some bad news. They were like, yeah, we crashed your Raptor inside of the shop. It looks kind of bad, and the guy got injured. He needed to go to the ER too, and I'm like mad at the same time about my Raptor, but I also feel bad for the guy. He was telling me, because this is the owner that's giving me the call, by the way. He was like, oh, yeah, like I don't know exactly what happened. I wasn't here. All I know is that, you know, like the Raptor went in reverse and then it went forward, and then just like it got damaged, and it's pretty bad. And I just want to tell you, I've been stressing out over it, and I'm over here thinking like, you're stressing out over it. What do you mean you're stressing out over it? So then I met him over there and I took video exactly what I saw, and it was this door damaged. I thought that was it, but I started doing my own little inspection around. Turns out the front was pretty bad too. Basically, they were squeezing in the Raptor and put it in, parking it in, and they were like, oh yeah, the guy's gonna be here tomorrow, so that way you can go ahead and talk to him. I'm like, all right, cool. Well then, like, oh, by the way, he said that the camera wasn't working. I'm like, what do you mean the camera isn't working? The camera's not working because I didn't turn on the Wi-Fi, and it's like, yeah, so the camera wasn't working. I'm over here like, so you're gonna have the shop, you were gonna close up the shop, but the camera wasn't on.
I still gotta give it to the insurance.
Yeah, cameras. Can we take a look at what happened?
I don't have them on. I forgot to switch the Wi-Fi to them, but you guys do have cameras on the.
That's funny. So I ended up getting the memory card off of my dash cam, right? So I get that and I look at it at home that night. And you know what I found out? I found a lot of things about the dash cam and the story that actually happened, not just what he's telling me. First off, the guy was not harmed. Let me just say that. The guy was completely fine. How do I know? I felt bad and then I went into rage. Because how are you gonna lie about somebody getting injured? Besides the point right now, right? So what ended up happening was the guy was like trying to scoop the Raptor in as much as he could, I guess to give more space behind. And he would get off, look at it, and then get back in, right? And what he ended up doing was something very, very lazy. I'm going to reenact what happened. Now, this is all based off of the audio that I hear from the dash cam, because it's a front-facing dash cam, so I don't actually have one that faces the interior. And of course, the backup camera was not recording for whatever reason. So I'm basing it off of the audio from the dash cam. I'm also going to base it off of the damage that I've seen, because keep in mind, now when you hear the crunch, I first thought that he like damaged the bed of the truck. That's completely fine. The bed of the truck and even all along the passenger side of the Raptor was completely fine. Most of the damage was actually underneath this door panel. And obviously the pillar right here where the hinges are at, that was completely messed up. And also in the front, more underneath like the skid plate, and for sure where like the license plate bracket is, like that area was definitely damaged. So that's where they had a lot of impact. So this is what he was doing. So he opens the door. I don't know how wide he had the door open, but for sure he had stuff everywhere. obviously, like when you look at the dash cam footage, the shop is a complete mess. Should have been red flag number 1. My bad, okay? I know, that was my bad. Anyways, so he actually does not get back into the Raptor in order for him to move it a little bit closer towards the Mini Coupe in the front. So I can tell that he was still standing outside because the weight did not shift in the Raptor. So I knew that he actually did not sit in the Raptor, because you see when he gets off, you can see the weight shift. This is important. So he's definitely standing outside with the door open. What he does is he reaches over, he turns on the ignition, and then he shifts into neutral. What he thought was neutral. Turns it off, and he goes to try and push the Raptor, but of course it's not budging. So he thought it was a great idea to hit the brake, turn on the ignition. Raptor turns on now, right? The engine's on. So then it revs. And because it is in reverse, where does the Raptor go? Starts going in reverse. You hear something crunching, which is actually something that like gets underneath the Raptor somehow. I still don't know what it was. Of course, they're not gonna tell me. So he hears the crunch, he panics, and then he like hits the shift to go into what he thought was park. Clearly it was drive, because now you see the Raptor launching forward into the red Mini Coupe. Okay, now because of the dash cam footage, I'm able to see not only did it hit the Mini Coupe, but it was like a domino effect. It ended up hitting the black Supra in the front, and then in front of the black Supra was another like workstation table that they had up there, and then you can see in the video stuff flying out of that too. So it was a pretty decent impact for it to also damage the skid plate, which is metal in the Raptor. All this happened in a matter of 8 seconds. 8 seconds, all because he wanted to be lazy and not actually jump into the Raptor.
Fuck me.
Also, please don't mind the guys having a mess right now. They're currently using the shop as a warehouse because they're obviously doing construction on the house. Also, something that's pretty funny is this is their kitchen right now. So knowing what I know what happened on the dash cam, the very next day, I go meet the guy who actually caused all of this. He still tried to blame it on the Raptor. Basically, the last 4 months has been a headache because now we have the insurance involved. Also, here's where mistake number 2 jumps in, right? So because I don't have anybody to recommend me body shops, guess what body shop I ended up going with? The guy that they recommended. Not only was this guy dragging his feet, but same thing with the insurance, okay? And I'm a pretty patient person. So come around the 2-month mark now, there wasn't really any progress. They were kind of trying to point the finger at each other like, oh, they're the ones who are taking their time, they're the ones taking their time. And I'm just like, really? Really? So I had to be on top of everybody and figure out what is going on in the process. I said, CC me on everything. CC me on everything. I started making phone calls on phone calls on phone calls until I got to somebody to give me answers. I was getting on my own nerve because I had to deal with this on top of that every single day after work, and nobody wants to deal with anything stressful after 8 hours on top of that traffic, right? I still go to check out the Raptor and I'm documenting everything. And now I need to see that you got the progress done. Did you get the approvals done? Did we get the check-in? Like on top of everything. Because now I don't want to hear, oh, they're the ones taking long. Now they're the ones taking long. No. We're not playing those games anymore. I need my Raptor back like now. And you know what really just like made the insurance finally start listening? When I mentioned that I'm going to file a loss of use. All of a sudden, everybody started answering my phone calls. Isn't that a miracle? Isn't it funny how like all that just happens? So the day finally came to pick up the Raptor. And you know what I noticed? I started seeing all of the imperfections. And I can notice it because you know, when you wash your car, you know what it looks like. I can see it right away. I've been looking at the progress. I've been tracking at the progress. I'm even looking at the videos and pictures when I first got the Raptor, when the accident first started. And it is insane, the things that I was seeing. Okay, at some point also during the 4 months, the body shop actually ended up cracking my window. At some point they rolled my window down and they couldn't roll the window back up. So I guess when they opened the door, I don't know how in the world they managed to do it, but they ended up cracking the window. And the day that I went to go pick it up, I started seeing a bunch of imperfections, which I'm gonna show you in just a second. But even the driver's side passenger window was all kinds of scratched up. It looked like somebody took a razor. I don't know what happened, but that definitely wasn't like that when the accident happened at the wrap shop. So it definitely happened at the body shop. And I'm just kind of like, dude, like, how don't you, I'm expecting to get my Raptor back basically in perfect condition. How it looked like when I first got it. Apparently that is too high of a standard to ask for. I understand I'm not paying for it, but the insurance is, but how are you gonna give me some low quality work? So let's move on to showing you the imperfections on my Raptor. The overall quality of this body shop was not good. And the first thing that I noticed was that there's a bunch of like debris underneath the paint. You can't tell right now because it's dirty, but let me give you a really good example. Where was it at? Here it is. Do you see that? Let me see. Let's see. Right here. There it is. Oh, there we go. Let's zoom in. Right there. You see? Yeah. I'm expecting this to be perfect, okay? Because this entire piece had to get redone, as well as this and the door itself too, and also this door because they needed to blend that in. So once this was clean, I seen so many imperfections in the paint. Also, what you can't tell is how many batches they had to go through to finally paint match. That is probably the worst thing you can tell me, that you can't color match. Isn't it your job to color match? Thank goodness it looks fine now, but it was like silver. It was not this. It was like straight up pure silver. So that was number one. Number two, the tow hook obviously did not get replaced. The skid plate was not replaced. What else was there? Trying to think. Oh, you know what? Guess what? This light does not work. I just found that one out today. Yay me. And there was something else that I kind of wanted to point out. Let me think. I remember. Right here, you can start seeing that the fender is starting to like press up against the paint, and it's starting to do this now. Let's see. trying to get you a better angle. Like, I don't know what in the world is going on. And let me show you the other side to prove that it's only on that side. Completely smooth on this end. Another thing I wanted to show you is actually the bumper. So I did not know that this piece is actually painted. I thought it was bare metal, but according to them, this is actually painted. It is not bare metal. And you can see here the boo-boo, and you can see that this line is not completely perfect, and this is straight up slanted. And it's the same on the other side, so you don't think I'm completely crazy. Do you see this? I asked the guy, do you think that this is acceptable? He was fed up and was like, yes, this is acceptable. I'm like, really? You're gonna turn this work and can't even put tape down in a straight line, and this is how you're gonna turn it into me? I understand that I'm not the one who's actually paying for it. Okay, I understand that the people that are paying for it is the insurance, but I still don't understand why you would do mediocre work. I am still planning on trading in the Raptor, but as of right now, that is postponed because I still need to wrap up the loss of use as well as the diminished value, because now my Raptor has a Carfax on it, and that just the value. So those two things didn't get wrapped up, and I definitely do not want to go trade it in and that put the approvals for those two forms into jeopardy. I don't need none of that happening. So if you have any advice as to how to go about both of those forms, so that way I can increase my, what can I say, probability of this getting approved, let your girl know, because I have no idea. So I'm still trying to do a little bit of research just to make sure all that gets done. And it's so annoying because I really want to get a new truck now, but I can't. On the flip side though, the 2026 Raptor Rs have not come out yet. And now I'm kind of debating, maybe I should get a 2026 or a 2025. I need to compare the two and see which one makes a little bit more sense. Maybe I can save a little bit more on the 2025. We're coming to an end on this year, so maybe the dealerships might be a little bit more motivated to give me a better deal on the Raptor Rs, specifically for the 2025s. I don't know, that's a possibility here. So that's probably the biggest plus right now when it comes to holding off on getting a new truck. So that is basically from start to finish everything that has gone wrong in these last 4 months. And I will keep you posted once I do actually get a new Raptor R. Fingers crossed it's this year. I'm really hoping it's this year. And I really do miss driving the Raptor. I miss being so high up. It is just such, it's such a good feeling driving the truck instead of my other cars. I definitely miss it. And I even miss making truck content for you. And I have so many new plans to make truck content, and I have a lot of ideas. So I'm like super excited about that. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now when it comes to my Raptor. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Please don't forget to drop comments down below to give me any advice on how to go about the diminished value as well as the loss of use. And I hope you have a good one. Drive safe. Bye.